Hi, everyone. Cynthia here. I'm a registered social worker and a therapist. I put an ask out to this group last week to see if anybody had any topics that they thought would be helpful for me to do a quick chat on. And one of the members commented, how is it going from one kid to two kids? And is there anything you would recommend? There's a lot I would recommend. A lot of things pop into my head with that question. Of course, everything I share is my perspective based on my own experience, others' experiences that I've communicated with, my training, and it's obviously a big topic, so I can only just touch on it right now. There may be things I say that really resonate, and there may be things that don't, and that's okay. This isn't one size fits all. This is just general tips. I came up with a couple that I thought might be helpful. So one is to plan ahead. I'm a planner. That's kind of my thing. So not everybody likes to plan ahead, but for me, it really helped to think about meal times, maybe prepping some stuff in advance or having some really easy things that I can do. Um, Childcare reinforcements. My husband was off work for a little while. We got my mom to help care for the oldest more at the beginning. Um, Things like setting up activities for your oldest, or even just talking to them, or reading books or watching shows about becoming a big sibling can be helpful, kind of like getting ahead of any challenges. Tip number two, check your expectations. When we have one, a lot is often on our plates. When we have two, it may or may not feel like a whole bunch more. Depends on your kid, depends on your personality, depends on the dynamics, depends on all of the expectations. Everybody's situation is different. But I find it can be really easy to get sucked into, I got to do more. There's still more to do. I'm not doing enough of this. I'm not doing enough of that. And that's just not a good place to go into having a second kid because there's a learning curve, right? How am I going to juggle all this? So I find the easiest way to do this is to look at what I really value. So if I really value family time, then I can give myself permission to get takeout a couple times a week and not feel guilty about that. If you really value home cooked meals, then maybe that means having the TV on a little bit more for the oldest or whatever. And all of that is okay. It's just about checking in with yourself about what your bare minimum is and giving yourself permission to let some things go for a little bit and give yourself a chance to kind of figure out a new groove. What I'll also say about that is thinking outside the box can be a helpful one here. Sometimes you can get two birds with one stone. I hate that expression. I don't know why I use it so much, but uh, sometimes creative ways of kind of engaging an older one while you're doing chores or something can really be helpful at this stage. And tip number three, notice how you're doing. And if you're not okay, ask for help. And that can be practical help, it can be emotional help, it can be time to sleep. It can be whatever you need it to be. Friends, family, this group, therapist. There's lots of different things that we can do, and it's okay to ask for help. We are supposed to be raising kids in a village, not in isolation. So I think that's the biggest one for me is really just like be okay with checking in with yourself about what you need. And if you're not getting your needs met, you know, do see if there's anybody who can support you with that in any which way. And sometimes there's a bit of a rough patch as we're adjusting, and that's okay too. We're not aiming for perfection or happiness all the time. Totally normal to struggle through this. And sometimes it's not as hard as we think it's going to be. It's just so individual. So I think the biggest thing is be kind to yourself, check in with yourself, and I hope that this was helpful. If you want more, I may be able to do another talk on any, other specific topics related to this, or if there's any other topics that you'd like to hear about, feel free to drop a comment. And also, I'm always here to offer support individually. If anyone is interested in learning more, you can book a free consultation or you can send me an email.